Hello everyone, welcome back to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Wrath of the Druids with me, Longclawvalhalla and Steel, where we always deliver. Well, this is part 4 of my story adventure. I'm taking on the entire new DLC, as well as setting up my trade business. And in this particular mission, King Flann has asked to see Barid and myself, as we are going to help him relocate a sacred book of text that's been taken from one of his churches. And he's pointing the finger at the Dublin Danes and puts this under my cousin King Barid's responsibility. And my role here is to try to help him. So I'm going to get Eivor to find this book, take out any druids or guards that we come across, and bring it back to King Flann to help Barid stay in his good graces. King Flann is the High King of Ireland. He's appointed himself as the major ruler, and he's definitely at war with various factions, and he's a Christian, so he takes a different stance to perhaps the way that Vikings would, but he definitely knows when he needs some strong arming, especially if the culprits for some of these raids and reavings are Danish. So for now, Barid is going to stay behind, and Eivor's going to go off and have a look around. And he tells us that there's a big camp in Eivor which is rumoured to be holding the sacred book. And this is a camp I actually cleared out a few days ago. So I'm going to go back there, and there'll be some new guards for me to take out, but a lot of the treasure and things like that I've already taken. I just haven't obviously interacted with the mission objective because it wasn't a live mission. And that's the thing about this game and this DLC, is that you can find yourself tempted to explore around the areas and taking your crew, and especially if you're looking for trade materials to help build your trade posts, you're going to be looking for places to clear out. And I found this particularly large camp with lots of different treasures in there, and cleared it out the other day and had quite a nice time. And I've now discovered that it's part of this mission story arc, so I need to go back there, and there'll be new guards for me to take out, as I say. So let's see how we get on. Check out the channel for all the other content. Let's get into this.
A step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be outdoors, forever free, you and me.
So let's talk about Eivor for a minute. Now, this is a massive camp and has a few different locations in it, and it's surrounded by lots of guards on different levels, and it's kind of fun because this particular camp has long grass and high spikes around it, so it's kind of difficult to move around. And what I'm really enjoying about the druids that you come across, the different types of enemies, rather than that's for me is the high point so far of this DLC, is that you're coming across different enemies that have different skills, and there are new enemies like the murderers, for example, that sort of lay around in the grass and will just pretend to be dead or just docile, and then all of a sudden jump up and try to kill you if you don't notice them, and they're very hard to pin down. And then there's elite druids, as well as your usual stuff as well, like the Goliaths and things like that. But we're not really dealing with guards, Saxon guards and things like that, like we had to deal with in the major story arcs. This is way more different, and I really like that. I've also encountered, as I said in my previous videos, werewolves and things like that, just from running around different camps and stuff. So I've seen a couple of it's not been discussed exactly who these guys are, but I've been and into sort of druid areas and found druid camps. This particular camp here, I think they're basically bandits. And as I say, there's a lot of treasure within this particular camp in Icaro, and the main treasure is in the central building here, and you need to shoot the door, shoot an explosive flask to blow open the door. And unfortunately, as I say, I came back I was doing some exploring after I'd finished recording the other day, and came back here. I just stumbled across the place and cleared it out, and didn't think about, oh, maybe that one might be actually in one of the story missions. So I'm back here today, and there's a fresh load of guards for me to kill, but I've taken all the treasure already. But of course, what I'm looking for here is the book, and you can see as I start to head around the compound that there is some areas of your mission treasure, which is kind of glowing blue, telling me that I'm going in the right direction. And there's sheer number of bandits that you need to take out, and they all seem to run around differently. But even the bandits are a slightly different level of bandits. They're different guards that you would normally encounter, and I really like that. So I'm enjoying the fact that it's a fresh perspective. There's somewhere completely different. It feels different being in Ireland than it does being in England, and of course you've got Vinland and Norway to go back to as well if you want to explore that further. So I've found the hut where the treasure is, and look who it is inside the hut. Thorstein, who I encountered in my first couple of missions, who we had the choice to kill him, and Barid chose to spare him, and Eivor basically advised against that. That's the thing with scumbags, they tend to come back to bite you, and it so happens that Thorstein is responsible for stealing the book. Here it looks as if we're sizing up for a bit of a boss fight, which I was kind of happy about, because he seems like, as I say, he's not a particularly nice man, but it didn't happen. Eivor chooses to spare him. He's only really interested in the book, and when he talks to Thorstein about the book, Thorstein explains that he sold the book to some weird cult types in a tomb. So here we go. My ears are pricking up here. We're going to go and interact with some of the Druids, and I haven't fully immersed myself into the story arc. This is only the chapter 2 I think I'm at now, and for me this is part 4 in my little journey, so I haven't really had any information on who the Druids are, but I've encountered them a few times, and they are pretty severe, and we'll have a look at that as we go and take them on. Thorstein is filling his pockets with stuff, and I've basically given him an ultimatum: get the hell out. This time I don't want to see you again. The third encounter, I'm going to kill you. So Thorstein is an interesting character. I'm pretty sure that the fact that we don't get to kill him here means he's going to pop up somewhere in the future. So this book, I don't know whether this is supposed to be like the Bible. We're talking about 1,000 years ago. I guess there was many scriptures, and pretty sure the Bible would have been the most sacred text, but it doesn't suggest that that's what it is. It's just a very sacred book, gold gilded book, which belongs to the church, and King Flann sees it his responsibility to have it returned, and this would be a major coup for Barid and Eivor in terms of trying to gain favour, which is what this seems to be all about, the main objective. I've got a few trade posts which I now operate within the area. I have 4, and I found a 5th. I just need to go and unlock it. That gives me a very nice circle to sort of fast travel between, making it very easy. So my journey to the tombs is not actually that long, and I regret, as I'm arriving here, I recognise the location somewhere else. I'm going to have to stop trying to explore when I'm not live streaming, because I end up clearing out areas And that is one of the downsides. The map itself is not that huge, so when you start wandering around, I think it's best to stick to the missions. Of course, I don't want to race through them. I want to take my time with them and make sure I'm a bit of a completionist, so I want to go through and clear out every area properly. And this tomb, there are a few different areas where you can collect treasure, and you can see as you go in, there's a grate in the floor which comes up with spikes, and that's one of the druids' many tricks that they will have for you, as well as kind of poison gas. It seems like poison smoke, usually smoking away somewhere nearby in chalices. And I haven't had any major fights that have caused me too much problems yet, despite the fact that I've encountered many different types of druids. I can see that they are pretty fierce, but nothing I can't handle. I'm waiting to see this wrath. Inside the room with the glowing book is the treasure that I need, and as soon as I have that, I'm going to scarper. There's actually some gear here as well, which I didn't see. I'm going to pick that up now, and then we're going to head up the stairs, and on the table here is the book we're looking for. And now, since I've already cleared the area out, I'm going to head up the ladder and out to my horse, and then use a fast travel to get back to Barid and King Flann. There are a few different caverns and areas to explore, and the best thing is we were collecting those trade materials, the exotic materials, the delicates, the scripts, the clothing, the materials, that kind of thing. It's so cool, which you use then to complete your trades with Azar in her store. At the same time, we're looking for trade post materials so that we can build those buildings within these new trade posts that I've unlocked. And I'm almost at the stage where I'm ready to put a video together. I just want to try and unlock all 7 of the areas, the trade posts, and then I'll show you how it works. In this particular scene, we're getting to see Eivor hand over the book to the bishop, who is less than pleased to find out that his precious King Flann has now got into bed with some of what he calls the pagans, who he considers a blight on the Christian faith and the Christian lands. Nonetheless, Eivor is not your average pagan, and he takes it in his stride. And you have a choice here. You can tell him to shut the hell up, or you can just say, look, I'm used to it. I'm here. I do what I must. I'm here to help. Eivor is not at all interested in Christian stuff. He's a Viking through and through, whereas Barid has already sort of embraced the Christian faith, mostly because he wants to gain favour with King Flann, who seems to be the major sort of protagonist here. Now I'm really hoping it comes down to me taking out King Flann, because he seems like a right turd, but let's see how we get on. In here we're talking about how much favour and how this and me doing this work for him should have gained him some favour, and he's talking now about the Danes that are causing problems locally and around, and he's got some issues that he wants our help with. We've already pledged ourselves to help him should he want to go to war, and it seems that the next mission in the story campaign will see us putting some efforts together for war. It's called War Efforts, so we'll see how that goes. When I explained that Thorstein was the one responsible for taking the book, Barid is annoyed that Thorstein was let go, and he feels like he made the wrong decision. But Eivor is comforting him. He wants him to feel like he's not made a bad decision. I'm getting the feeling from Barid that he really doesn't know what he's doing. He's not particularly great king. God knows how he managed to find himself on the throne, and because he doesn't seem to be a particularly revered or fearsome warrior. But there we are, all done with this mission, and I've got some more content coming very soon. Take it easy, check out the channel for the rest of the content, and I'll be back in another video soon.